Welcome to the Temple of Surf, the podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to share something close to my heart. We just launched the Temple of Surf apparel line. T-shirt, hoodies, caps and more, all inspired by the spirit of surfing and the stories we celebrate here. And if you have little ones who love the ocean, don't miss out our children book series available now on Amazon. Fun adventure about surfing, friendship and the sea. By supporting the books and apparel, you're also supporting the podcast and helping us to keep the surf culture alive for future generations. Mahalo! Welcome back to the Temple of Surf, the podcast. Today's episode is all about images, timing, and the art of watching surfing from the right place. I'm really happy to welcome Laurent Pujol to the podcast. Laurent is a French surf photographer based on the Atlantic coast. Over the years, he has built a strong reputation for capturing surfing in a way that feels raw, honest, and deeply connected to the place. His work isn't about chasing trends of perfect poses, it's about light, movement, atmosphere, and those brief moments when everything lines up. Coming from a coastline shaped by powerful swells and changing conditions, Laurent developed a patient eye. An eye that understands that great surf photography isn't just about the surface, it's about the wave, the environment, and the feeling of being there. Whether it's shooting from the beach, the water, or unexpected angles, his images tell stories that go beyond performances. In this conversation, we talk about the reality of being a surf photographer today, the long waits, the missed moments, the physical demands, and the constant search for authenticity. We discuss how surf imagery has evolved, the pressure of social media, and why staying true to your vision matters more than ever. This episode is for surfer, photographer, creatives, and anyone who loves surf culture seen through a thoughtful lens, not just consumed at high speed. So slow it down, tune in, and enjoy this deep conversation about surf photography, patience, and storytelling with Laurent Pujol. Welcome to the Temple of Surf, the podcast. Good afternoon, Laura. Welcome to the show. Where are you today?
Hey, Alessandro. Thanks for having me. I'm in the southwest of France, in Hossegor.
Yeah, fantastic. We were talking on the pre-interview about the waves over there and wishing for like a good winter. So far it starts okay, right? And with the time there, the perfect month is November, December, or more like early in the year?
Well, it seems like before, like 10, 15 years ago, like as soon as September swung around, it would just start to pump. And slowly but surely, it's just getting set back, a few weeks every winter. And now it's like more November. Like 5, 10 years ago, it's probably October, it would just be pumping. And now it's more like set back. Sometimes it'll last a little longer also. So it's like through March, April at times. But I mean, you never know. Like a few years ago, we had a really huge swell early October. Like 3 years ago, probably like one of the bigger ones we've had, and as that is. So it's, aléatoire. You never know. It changes up.
Yeah.
It changes on us.
Definitely. Every time that I talk with people that are from Hossegor or Cabreton, that area, we always talk about the Hossegor Pro, the long time gone Hossegor Pro, and the fantastic waves that we have seen across the years, and the fantastic surfers that surfed those waves. And it's like a kind of, a little tear going down our face to see.
Yeah, that contest was awesome. And I think a lot of the people feel like that, even the surfers. And it was just, the waves would be so good. And oftentimes the title was kind of not decided, but like even like reshuffled, or somebody had a little bit of too much of a lead. Like Andy caught back up to Kelly that one year. It was pretty rad. Ended up winning at Pipe after that. So it was just a lot of it would go down here, and it was it's a complicated. You got to be a real sailor to surf here, because it's just the lineups are complicated, and you got to just kind of like move around the lineup, and it's not like a lower trestles to where the peaks here it's going to break. So a lot of IQ had to be. You had to have a high level IQ to surf this place right. And I really hope, I've heard there's possibility it could come back. Let's see.
Definitely, like of course there is a Super Tubos in Portugal, which is great to watch, but it's not. It will never be so iconic.
Yeah,
the Hossegor Pro.
You know that at one point we had 3 WCTs here. It was Biarritz, Hossegor, and Lacanau. For the longest time, there was 3 championship events here. So like a lot of the tour rankings and like would go down here in France back in the 90s.
So I mean, and makes us think, like if last year they included in the tour the Abu Dhabi pool, that actually I think this year is not there anymore. But why?
It's not.
I don't think it was like enough. I think attracting
views. Yeah,
but I don't know. I have no idea. But also definitely France and Hossegor is missing. So yes, I'm with you. I hope one day we'll come back. And talking about the pool, it's fantastic because yesterday there was Sunday. Sorry, there was the longboard classic. Eduardo Del Pero did a
Del Pero won. Yeah, pretty cool. I think it's like the 3rd time he's world champ, or maybe even more. I don't know, but he's just racking them up. He's doing well.
It's doing fantastic, and it will be number 1 in seeding for Salvador. So yeah, big opportunity to become world champion again. And
very cool. Oh, that wasn't for the world championship?
The world championship final, I think, is in El Salvador, right?
Oh, I thought that was it. See, I'm not even. But he's doing great. He's been world champ a few times, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think.
Yeah, a couple of times world champ.
And
he's on it.
No, it was so cool to see, the flag of the Basque Country. I know that Hossegor and Leland, Hossegor and Cabreton are in Leland and not in Basque.
Yes. Well, the Basque Country starts in Bayonne, where the river, the Ladour is. That's the beginning, and it goes deep into Spain, like
exactly
Bilbao area.
So it's like a neighboring region.
Yeah, we're neighbors. We get along.
Cool. So anyway, many things I would like to discuss with you today, but the first question is in fact we are kind of deep in questions, but nevertheless, first question, official question, is in your opinion, what is the most important thing in surfing?
What is the most important thing in surfing as a surfer?
Like you can reply as the way you like.
Man, the most important thing in surfing is style. I think it's funny. Oftentimes you'll have a guy that's really smooth out surfing, and he's kind of a smooth cat on land, and vice versa. So it's kind of weird. It's funny like that. So I mean, a good style in and out of the waters, I like. It's the most important thing for me.
Interesting enough, you gave me the same answer of my real first episode after more than 200. I interviewed Rob Machado.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
Sadly, the same motivation. I could put the 2 interview one face on the other. You said exactly the same thing.
No way. That's cool. I love Rob. He's a cool cat, man. Really great style, and see how smooth he is on land and in the water. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
Exactly, definitely. So if you talk about style, and we just put aside Ron Machado, any other surfer that for you had like a fantastic style inside or outside the water?
I mean, I'm going to be, of course, Kelly. AI was a really, big inspiration, just the way he did the lines he drew, and he was radical surfing. He's radical on land, I kind of like that, it's like the yin and the yang, when he's like Machado and AI. But yeah, and there's just tons of them. I've always liked Taylor Knox's surfing. Jeremy was a great surfer. He's like the first, really high level European guy. So it was a lot of proudness in that. 2 times pipe master. One Chopo, of course, but one Hossegor. And the Hawaiians, I've always loved that Hawaiian vibe, the big waves, the protecting lineups kind of stuff. And I spent a lot of time in Hawaii as a pro surfer. I spent 20 plus winters there, and I loved every minute of it. I didn't just go there to surf and catch waves. I would be there to hang out with the boys and do the barbecues, and just really enjoyed all of that. So I have really good fond memories of that. Surfing pipeline and backdoor and off the wall. Yeah.
I guess, I mean, you lived it. Me, I just read it on the book or watched documentary, like to surf North Shore or these iconic places. You cannot just go there with a board and surf it. You need to blend in, right? And gain your space, isn't it?
Of course. I mean, the first year or two, you're going to go there, you're going to have the beginner's luck. You're going to catch a couple waves, so it's going to be like, oh, I got to get some more of those. But if you come back just to get those waves, and that's not going to happen, whether it's from the mana or from the boys dropping in on you, or, you got to be there for the right reasons in the end, especially if you want to make it last a long time and take advantage of that vibe over there. And, so I would go there and I would be accepted. And anytime the Hawaiian guys came here to France, I would take care of them real well, So it was just like it was a give take thing.
For whoever listen, and maybe I'm wrong, but you will tell me, it's not a matter of, for what I understood, it's not a matter of localism, it's a matter of respect, right?
Absolutely. Respect. Know how to conduct yourself, and most importantly of all, just be yourself, and that's the most important lesson I got out of there. Don't try to be out there impressing anybody, or just be yourself. That's what they want to see out of you, and then when you be yourself, they're going to be themselves with you. It's not going to be that whole old macho thing. It's just, they're all really smooth, cool cats. And yeah, man, I miss it. I haven't been there in a while. I'd love to get back there at some point. Just talking about it's got me missing it. I have kids. I have, it's just not the same thing. I got to work, but I need to get back there at some point.
When it was last time you were in Hawaii? Which year it was?
I was there about 5 years ago.
Okay, so not that far.
Yeah, I shot Jaws. Or no, I did a Tide Hero commercial with Kai Lenny about 5 years ago. And then I was there 2 years prior to that for a Jaws swell. I almost went last season for that huge one, but it was close to Christmas and 100-foot wave was just well, nah, we're not gonna. And then I was just okay. But if it wouldn't have been so close to Christmas, I would have gone and just paid my way. But I wanted to spend Christmas with my kid. But in the end, I could have gone and came back for Christmas when it was all said and done. But yeah.
You don't want to miss in life, and Christmas with the kids obviously as the priority over surf, right?
It's a big deal. Yeah, I know. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I could totally miss New Year's, but not Christmas. My daughter still believes in
exactly. Yes.
Santa Claus. My son not anymore, but so yeah. Just
how old are they?
My son's 12, and my daughter is going to be 7 next month.
Okay, so my son is 7 and my daughter is 6, and my son saw us packing the gift last Christmas time, and so he got disappointed. They said Daddy, Santa Claus doesn't exist, and I said why? Because I saw you wrapping the gift, and I said, do you think that Santa Claus has the time to wrap all?
That was a good one. You're good.
And of course, he leaves it at the door, and us, we are helping him. And he said,
"Take care of this for me, buddy."
Look at me, if I said the smartest thing in the world, I say, yeah, that makes sense.
That was good, right? That was quick.
Doing off here of fairy tale, it was cool. So anyway, maybe this year for New Year's Eve, a flight to Hawaii, or your agenda is booked in December, 31st of December. You maybe fly.
You never know. Yes, I mean, if a huge one comes, I'm not going to miss it again. But man, last year was like one of those swells. Like they don't show up every like 10 years, you know, it was huge. It was the Eddie Aikau swell. You remember that jaw was huge that day.
Yes, the one of London McNamara win is that one?
Exactly. And oh man, just like when I was trying to get there and they were like, nah, don't go. We're not gonna cover this one. And I was just had this gnarliest FOMO, like the 10 days prior to the swell, you know, just going, oh my God, I'm gonna miss this. That's how passionate I am, you know, to like shoot these huge swells. Plus I told them it's gonna be huge in Hawaii, and then it's going to Mavericks. And there's not much wind. We can chase this thing down. So I like to see that like 10 days out. It totally could have changed, but that's exactly what happened, man. Even bigger than I thought it was gonna like it. And then like the PTSD after that, just to put, you know, I had to like get through that. It was, oh man, it was horrible. Honestly, man. For like 20 days, like even Christmas time, I'm just like, oh, I should have gone. You know, it's like kind of ruined my Christmas.
I mean, you got the brownie point with your family, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, 10 years from now, it'll be like, even maybe 5, I'll be like, yeah, fuck that. So I was here. I was there for the kids, you know.
that won't matter.
But yeah, that's just how I'm just so into it, man. I can't let these swells go by and like not try to document them, you know. I'm really I'm that into it.
That's your work and your passion. So that's a fantastic combination of the two, right?
Yes. Yeah, it really is.
And you were talking about the Kailani Tagore advertising. I didn't know there was you behind that, because I remember pretty well. It was a fantastic one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I shot mainly lifestyle. We used one of my shot a line or two of action. And then I went over there to do some lifestyles with him underwater, getting ragdolled, and like I don't know if they used that or what, but yeah, that was me shooting the just the water stuff. Okay, there's other people shooting the land stuff, and you know, I'm just strictly water.
No, I remember vividly like that a page of a magazine, you know, and like this deep blue thing, you know, and
yeah.
I was maybe because it was in the water. And so, I mean, what makes one shot like this, you know, let's say iconic, you know, what makes people remembering it actually, you know, in your opinion?
Oh man, it's gotta, I mean, it's gotta be the right wave, the right surfer, and I guess the right cinematographer, a mix of all that, and for, you know, the light, and you know, it's provoke luck is what it is, really. You know, you just got to try to be out there for that moment, and you can never really, it's not like a studio to where, okay, here you sit here, let's wait for the set to cut. You know, that doesn't happen. You know, it's always kind of on the run, and at some point, you know, the stars align, and that magic shot happens. Like, for example, the first time I shot in Nazare was in 2012, January. We went down there with Billabong Adventure, and we were with Shane Dorian and Benjamin Sanchez and Eric Ribier. And they get out there and they're just battling. It's kind of wild. It's a bit of a big day to paddle. It's just complicated. They're getting a few waves, and at one point, Shane Dorian rides the wave a little far in, and then the guy goes in to pick him up with the ski and with the big board. They ended up getting beached they got beached on the beach. You know, they couldn't nowhere to go, and Shang spent like an hour on the beach, you know, like the main star of the thing, you know. I was just like, holy shit, man, when's he gonna get back here? Somebody go get him, please, you know, just either go to the port, bring him back to the port, you know, let's get him back out here. And at one point, Sebastian Strutner shows up. This is like a long time ago, and he's like, sure, I'll go get him. And he just flew in, grabbed him, and brought him back out. And like as soon as he jumps off that fucking ski, and mind you, this is the first time I shot out there. I don't even know where to really sit. You know, it's a huge beach break, and there's no channel, and it's chaos out there. And Shane just gets off the thing. He asks me, "Are they getting some waves?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're getting some waves," you know. And he's just like head down and started paddling out, you know. And they weren't really getting that many waves. And I was like, "Yeah, they're getting waves." And I told my driver, I'm like, "Dude, go in. Go in as far as you can because next setback's coming. He's gonna go bonsai on this thing. He's gonna go for sure." And it was a cloudy day, and here comes this huge set, and the fucking sun comes out for a second, and he just drops in on this wave and makes the drop. And it's like we were in this spot, like kind of 45 degrees behind the wave, you know, like at that angle, and he's dropping on the right. Like, and the sun was getting into the lens and just made like there was like 7 or 8 covers. This is back when there's a lot of magazines, you know, it was a big deal being there. It was like we got like 8 covers, like 20 double page spreads with this shot, you know. It's just like the stars aligned, you know. So it's like you never know how that's an iconic shot for me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't planned, you know. It was provoke luck. The stars aligned.
Yeah.
So that's an example.
No, I think you're right. You know, like, of course, there is like always a component of luck because we're talking about human nature. We're talking about nature and we're talking about the human, and both of them, they need like in a certain way to click together and make the perfect.
Absolutely. Yes. And I had been there. My focus was on, you know, it could have been out of focus. This is how I was shooting stills back then, right?
Oh, yeah.
Could have been out of focus. You know, it's like everything was just perfect, you know.
So
and that was like what planted the seed to do what I'm doing out there today. You know, I was like, man, one day I need to get back there and do some cinematography out there and just show the world that ground zero level, you know, of like, because prior to that, it was all from the cliff. You can't shoot from the beach just because there's so many waves, and there's always going to be a wave in your shot. I mean, maybe once out of 30, you're going to get a clean shot, but not many times. So it was all from the cliff, and you get that optical illusion to where you don't see where the bottom of the wave is. And it was just never really gave it much justice until we finally got out there and started filming and just like ground zero, and you could just see the fucking thing just so high up, you know, like holy shit, there's like 10-story buildings out here, you know.
But in fact,
lots of them.
In effect, you know, I always ask to have the opportunity, the blessing to have a lot of legendary surf photographers in the podcast, and we always talk about perspective, right? And like the fact, as you were saying, you know, that you change the perspective, you know, from going on the cliff and seeing like these giant walls, but as long it's a flat kind of picture, you know, and you never realize what the surfer is experiencing if you see it from the bottom up, right?
Yeah. You can't see the bottom of the wave. You never know where the bottom of the wave is, right? So it's like, it looks like it's a never-ending slopey wave. You're right.
For you, in this kind of photography, okay, that is, I mean, image, you know, that is different than maybe other images of other photographers, you know, like then the perspective allow you to tell a story. The one of maybe also trying to understand that art palpitation of the surfer. Of course, you're talking about pro surfers that are fine with, I guess, being in the middle of danger, right? But they are pro. But also for the normal viewer, like anybody that can watch 100-foot wave, you know, over the TV screen, realizes, oh my God, you know, this shit, it's huge.
Yeah, of course. And that was the plan, you know, like the 100-foot wave is more like a grand public thing, you know, like middle America watches it, you know, it's not for the core. If you want to watch a surf flick with some great action, I mean, it's not it, you know. There's some surfing, but most of it is on the this interviews, storytelling.
Yeah, but I think it gives like it's portraying, you know, like what is life of a surfer, or like the value of the surf culture, and stories of human people, like normal people, like
Of course, that's the goal, and that's all it took because it's had quite some success, and that's in the end, that's all it took. You need to make a movie about bank robbers or girls just flexing on each other, and I had a contest, like what Blue Crush was, or and it's just real story. And in the end, the grand public grasped to that. Just that storytelling, and they want to know more about just the athletes. And it's not necessarily, of course, it's the Kai Lennies and the Chumbos, but there's also like really average surfers in the series. It's just you got to have a good story. That's the main thing.
You have like fantastic surfers, like
Yeah, of course, yeah, but there are also like less like what the core people would say, oh, what's this guy doing in the series? Like the guy's got a good story.
Hi, we'll get back to the conversation in just a moment, but I would like to remind you that the Temple of Surf is more than a podcast. We created an apparel line inspired by surf culture, from tees and hoodies to caps, so you can carry the spirit of the ocean wherever you go. And if you have kids, check out our surf-inspired children book series on Amazon, fun stories that bring the magic of the sea to life for young readers. By supporting these projects, you're helping us keep surf culture alive and growing. Now, let's get back to the show. But from my perspective, my personal experience, one day I was on a flight with my son and my daughter next to me, and I was watching 100-foot wave in the TV screen of the flight, of the sea. And next to me there was my kid that he was watching cartoon, And when a kid is watching cartoon, they don't whatever
Focus.
Yeah, whatever it happens around them, it was like doesn't exist. And my son stopped looking at cartoon and looked at my screen and say,
Wow.
God, Dad, this is amazing. And I was like super proud dad, because I was like, yeah, you see. And I like it's so engaging, the images, that we see in those big waves and those rides. And, I mean, it could not stand the story, obviously, but definitely it's very impactful. And
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that he stopped the cartoon and it was he got into it. Yeah, it's a grand public thing. Even the kids, they get pretty cool.
But so then, when we go back to what was defining an image or a film iconic, I think, of course, there is the luck factor. There is all the preparation of professional people like you behind the lens, or the surfers that are surfing in case it involves surf. But I think maybe to complete what you're saying, I think there is also the storytelling, the story that is behind that shot that can make it special. I'm thinking, for instance, about that image of Greg Knoll surfing Waimea Bay in the 60s, like very iconic. Or I'm thinking about Jerry Lopez, the surfing pipeline, like, again, very iconic. Or you can take, I don't know, some of the masters, Art Brewer, or I don't know, Jimmy Metico, Aaron Chang, whatever. It's like each one of these big images that are like everybody recognize, they have like a powerful story behind. Do you think that helps or not? Completes what you are saying or not?
Yeah, what it takes to make an iconic shot. Yes, of course it does. Sorry about that. Yeah. Of course, absolutely. And I'm sure when they were shooting whoever was shooting Greg Knoll at that time had no idea it was going to become such an iconic shot. Like sometimes like the time will make it an iconic shot, and so the guy was probably just doing it because he was just so impressed and like into it and passionate, and ended up being one of the most iconic shots in surfing.
I think so. I mean, I think the moment you take the photo, it's very difficult to.
Yeah, you don't realize at that point. When you get back to back then, it's like you had to send the fucking film in, and we get it back 2 weeks later. And then it's like, oh, well, holy shit, Now it's like you get back to the hotel, or then you look at it, it's like, okay, oof, we got it. So you kind of realize, like, back to that Shane Dorian day, and it's like when we got back to the hotel, we're like looking at it, we're like, shit, we got it, we nailed it. I had no idea it was going to go viral as it did, but it's like once you see it, it's just like, oh, finally, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Is there a shot of one of your, let's say, colleagues, or among surf photographers or filmmakers, that you would have loved to take? That.
Well, when I first got into photography, my idols was Chris Van Lennep and for the reason he was getting these shots from behind. Like, he would like twist his camera behind the riders, and he was showing the vision behind the guy or from underneath. Scott Eichner was really good at that, but Van Lennep was the first to do it. Get that shot and you look out the tube with the guy in the shot. He was like figuring out a way. He had it like a couple shots where there was no water drops. Daniel Russo got a really good one of John also at Chopo. But these shots are, so when I got into photography, that was like the thing I was trying to get. I needed that shot. I wanted to get that shot bad. I was just always getting a water drop, man. It was just one shot will just ruin the shot. It's got to be a clear port for it. I mean, that comes from the surfer as well. Like, for example, when you're getting that shot from behind or underneath, if he's like bottom turning it's going to spray the camera. So if he goes flat or goes on the other rail, that's when that's when you'll get it. Now, in that John shot, John's so good that he might have like gone to the other rail not to spray the camera. It's like, it's probably going to be like a surfer photographer thing, mixed up. So I was just battling trying to get this shot, man, and I couldn't get it. So in the end, I'm just like, man, I'll just surf behind these guys. Have you seen the shots I shot from behind? Like,
yeah,
I start not, and that was like what dropped the seed. I was like, okay, now how in the hell am I gonna get behind him with my camera in hand? I mean, it's not like I can paddle with my Nikon D3, catch the wave. So I was like, okay, we got to use skis for this. And at first, we're trying with 2 skis, right? Like 2 ropes, 2 skis. Again, like dropping in. There's like 1 ski in between us. The subject's far away. It was just like, oh, man, this is just like painful. It's like, how are we gonna? And then at one point, one of the skis kind of breaks down. It doesn't work good anymore. And then we're just like, hey, just grab mid rope, and I'll grab the end. You grab mid rope, and that was the trick for that. Like, once we got that in, we were letting go. One ski kicks out, and we're grouped together, and we just backdoor the section together, and then it was just like a matter of like picking the shot, because it was like 10, 12 shots every wave. It was just like no drops. It was insane. It worked perfectly. So all that to say, I ended up finding because in the end it's pretty easy to do. I mean, you get blasted, you get your ass handed to you. You got to pay for the shots, but the shots came out really good. So I was copying those guys because I was so in awe of these shots these guys were getting from underneath and behind, and I couldn't pull one off, and ended up doing it like that. Follow cam.
But in effect, it's a topic of. I call it innovation. I don't know if it's the right term, no? Like, you found a new perspective once again, we're talking about perspective. You found a new perspective, and that makes your shot different than the others, right? And
yeah, I mean, man, honestly, I wanted to bring the public, the grand public, into the tube. Like, like for real. Like I wanted to show what it's like to be in there, and that was the plan at first, and it worked. And same with Nazare. I mean, I wanted to bring the grand public out there in the water and show them what it looks like, and that worked as well. So all that to say is just like you gotta have a plan. You gotta have you gotta like provoke the luck, and first get the plan. What do you want to do, and then you say, okay, how are we gonna execute? And then yeah, just go out there and try it.
Do you think it's still possible nowadays? Like when, of course, many surf photographers have tried many perspectives, many things to have like a new thing, a new angle, a new film, a new photo, or that kind of call it innovation or that kind of call it creativity. I don't know what to say. It's rare and rare and rare because like
A lot's been done already, yes, of course. And yeah, I mean, if somebody comes in really creative, he's gonna find something, He's gonna find something. When I first started doing the follow cam shots, I mean, I had like Peter Mel, he's a good friend of mine, and he's like, "How are you getting these shots? Are you shooting from the ski on the 50 mil or something?" I was just like, "What? You don't understand what I'm like." Like I was blown away that he a lot, even like guys like a high level of him, like him, like couldn't wrap their head or what I was doing in the beginning, like following the guy in the barrel with my camera. So yeah, I mean, you just gotta have an idea and execute, and just really think out of the box.
so do you think that this is the most important thing when we talk about surf photography or surfing? It's like thinking outside the box or some.
Absolutely, yeah. I've never been the guy to try to do what everybody else is doing. I've always been like, okay, he's doing that. Okay, I'll grab a different lens, or I'll go sit a little on the right to get that front view. Or I don't want to do what other people are doing. It's already being done. So yeah, just think out of the box, and that'll make you stick out.
Definitely. And today the issue is like talking with other photographers, the possibility to stick out, like the opportunity to stick out, like because today it's like there are a lot, of course, like you said, I was like shooting back in early 2010, and now the digital in 2020 is totally different,
Absolutely.
or to shoot with or to film with different kind of equipment, maybe not as expensive as they were before, and so we are kind of overstimulated in visually, right?
Yeah, everybody's a photographer these days. But then again, the cameras are getting smaller and more frame rate, and you get this. The evolution is gonna make it so it's gonna be easier to do stuff that wasn't possible before.
For what you're doing today, do you think that, of course, like technology has been an ally to surf photographers all over the world, making things simple and easier, like than to change a film on the shore, and load the camera with another one and to go out there, of course, it's made many things easier. But now,
I mean, we're still changing batteries and carbs. You got to open the camera, and so you do have to.
Well, we need to improve the batteries resistance.
Yes.
But do you think like the AI things will get destroyed versus what technology did so far means add value and make things, let's say, easier for professional? You think AI for what you do, like we talk about big waves photography, big wave filmography. Do you feel it as a threat, or you feel that anyway, that perspective that you have, that position, that preparation, that human as well relevance is going to be the machine can never match that.
I mean, first of all, AI is coming out with some crazy stuff. When you see like a kid on his porch and a bear comes up and rips a piece of meat out of his hand, and it looks so real, and it's just like, yeah, like, oh, like that's AI. It's got to be AI, and So right now it's kind of like, oh wow, that was insane. Oh no, okay, maybe that is AI. But we're gonna go through that where they're gonna make killer stuff and make killer stuff look great. And especially for movies, it's not gonna be a need to do these crazy stunts anymore. And like, you're gonna be able to tape all that shit together and come out with the craziest stuff. And it's gonna look really realistic. But at one point, I think we'll go back to the old school, like this is like no AI. But I think we're kind of in an era right now to where the AI is going to take over
Really?
because it's just arriving. So let's see how that goes. I mean, hopefully we don't lose our jobs.
I I don't know, like if maybe on the short term, if people will start to consume too much product of AI, there is a risk of not losing the job, but to have like a very reduced amount of work unless you embrace AI.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. It's like to going lunch with the devil in a certain way. And the other thing is like, I hope in the medium long term, people will just like realize that it's fake stuff, artificial stuff, and nobody can match having a surfer surfing Nazare on his best day or Joe's or whatever on his best day. There is so much more that goes.
There's so much that goes into that, like getting that shot even from the surfer standpoint, just getting out there and catching that wave, and to the guy filming, to like, getting out there and being in the right place at the right time. And, so a lot goes into these shots. It really, from both sides, and then like post production and like before it goes to the public and all that. So it's just not some geek behind his computer making, sticking some stuff together and blowing the world's mind, because that's what's going on today. Like the other day, I was going through Instagram, and there's these two chicks in this Ferrari, and they're hanging out, and there's like a truck right next to them with like 4 camels lined up, and then
Yes, I saw that.
and then the convertible. Did you see that? And this thing just shits all over them. And then driver's like, don't worry, it's organic. Don't panic, it's organic. And it's like, oh my God, is this real? Like, it looks so real. And then I was like, dude, oh my God, it got me again. Those fuckers. AI.
But
That's the shot. You can imagine, like, if you had that shot, like, that's the right place, right time I'm talking about. It's like,
well, like I think to all the surfer geeks that are out there, to not to try to steal, the job of the profession. We go back to what we said about not sure. It's about respect, right?
yeah, of course.
Of course, making things fun and entertaining. It's okay. Like I don't think it would be feasible to have that shot of a camel shitting on on a Ferrari, and so it's entertaining and it's okay. If I But to try to replicate your job or any other professional that put time and dedication, passion, and sacrifice, that I think is close to stealing, or which is not right.
Yeah.
What are you currently working on? Of course, like there is the huge success of Underfoot Wave.
Yep.
Emmy winner twice, I think. And that's a fantastic thing for you, for the surf community, for the surfers, for surfculture, for Garrett, of course.
And just to get a word in there, like, that's like honestly, like probably like my thing I'm most proud of is like surfing won those Emmys.
Yes,
they like surfing, and I'm so proud of that. I really am.
And yeah, we are also proud of you, because it's like it's difficult to portray surfing in a real way and to be out there. It's like as you said, of course, bank robbers, Point Break, or you can do like soul surfing, or you can find the angle, but of course it's a kind of romance way, and the way I judge myself, Underfoot Wave was a real way. It's like real people and real topic, huh? people dying on the waves, people struggling,
Yep.
It's not a reality TV show kind of MTV style, it's real,
Yes.
it's real stuff, it's
Absolutely. It's like the kind of like the Formula One, on Netflix. That it's kind of like the real story as they like the struggles and the stoke and all that.
almost the same without having $1 million pilots that are like, if they are without a job, they still can have their life.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably not the same budget, that's for sure. All around.
Yeah, for instance, like for me, when I saw Tony Laureano, okay, the struggle that he had,
Yeah,
was not able.
Tony's great.
He's a fantastic guy, and
Awesome.
the struggle of him facing the fact that he was not able to make Justine surf and to put her in the right position, and it's not because of the friendship between and the respect between the two surfers, and it's a real thing, it's not just like, oh my god, I'm not able to drive the jet ski this time, it's really like the responsibility of such a
The pressure got to him, and they showed that really well. And just to touch on that is when I first started shooting for them, it's like action. I would just like start, and then the wave would stop, and it'd be stop. And the editors got back to me and just like, yeah, man, you need to keep that camera rolling. We need to get that in between the wave stuff, and then get more stuff, what's going on out there, more kind of the verite. And at first I was just like, man, that's what you guys talking about. I'm getting all these, killer clips. I'm killing it, and then I started doing it a little bit. And then obviously I'm watching season 1, season 2, and really understanding the fact, like the in between the wave shots, how it's allowing them to tell the story. And to get back to that Tony incident with Justine, I could see that day, the big day when they couldn't buy a wave to save their lives. It was like coming in too fast, too slow. And I could just see the like, everybody was just panicking. When I say everybody, it's just Tony, Justine, and Fred David, or Justine's boyfriend. And at one point I see Fred like going up to them from behind, like to like talk. And so I told my driver, like, get there, hurry up, get there, and let's get this shot. Because I knew there was going to be something like, and that's the shot you see in there when he's like, Tony's getting up on the sled, or on this, Tony's driving the ski and he's got his head down, and Justine's on the sled and she's like red, just like, and Fred's like, dude, you're all over the place. He's doing this with his arms. Like, and I'm right behind them getting this shot, and that's the shot that's going to like allow them to tell the story. So now I'm understanding my role out there more than ever, it's not just action.
No.
A lot of it's the in-between wave stuff, and it could be even more important than action because we have a drone guy shooting. We can get angles from the cliff, if the wave, obviously it'd be great to have all the big waves from the water, but that's just not possible. So I've come to terms, like I've understood like my position out there, and yeah, it's just to touch on that because it was like, but it's just how it goes, like maybe he wasn't ready for, and Justine was like wanting so much from him, but he wasn't quite ready for that yet. But anyways, I mean, that shot, I was really stoked the way it came out in the episode because it really showed what was happening out there,
Yeah, definitely. And then for the passionate people that they watch the series and then maybe they've seen Tony surfing like the biggest wave in Pearl in December, or where he was, and it's fantastic to see the evolution and the way.
Of course, yeah, he's getting much better, yeah. But when he got on with Justine, I was like, he was just getting off with his dad, and his dad used to always drive, so he didn't have that much experience driving. So now he's a lot better, much better. Yeah, he's been driving a lot.
So for you, of course, maybe there is like a series 4 of Underfoot Play, but you're working on other projects, or?
So we haven't had the green light yet for season 4, although it's halfway shot. We're still waiting, staring by to see if we're going to be shooting again this winter. So I'm in talks with a couple of different other projects concerning big waves. One worldwide, chasing swell. And let's see. I mean, I'd be stoked to do one more season with 100-foot wave, just to get that last dance in there. That's for sure, you know. So let's see how that goes. I have a really cool project with Kelly Slater coming up, but that's more for like March, April.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, there's a couple little commercial shoots here and there, like, yeah, that's about it. You know, it seemed like there was a lot more jobs a couple years ago. It's just the surf industry is it's not at its best right now. We're like at the bottom of the bubble. I think, you know, there's going to be a climb back at some point, but there's not that many jobs out there. And honestly, I'm just really grateful to have been working this last 5-6 years with 100-foot wave, because there hasn't been that many shots on the side, not much work on the side. Before, it was a lot of work in the summertime. You give like these little gigs, 2 or 3 a month, you know, and in the summertime. And this summer, I didn't work that much, you know. So I just did some surfing, hung out with the family, you know, and so that was good also.
Let's see the glass half full, in the sense that you have more time with the family, and then when it will kick again, spending your time traveling the world, and so
that's it.
You have to see.
That's it.
Okay, so
But it's I'm trusting the process, you know. It'll work out. You gotta trust the process.
that's totally the right, let's say, mindset. Yes.
Yeah.
So there are 6 questions that I ask to everyone at the end of the show. Please answer the first thing that comes up to your mind, okay?
Okay.
These are always the same for everyone. The best surfboard that you ever surfed?
I'd have to say either Pat Rawson or Eric Arakawa surfboards.
Okay, well.
Or Stretch also.
Okay, then.
Is that cool? Or then I bring one. One? Does it have to be just one?
Yeah, it should be one, but anyway, fine. You know, like you are.
I'll do one from now on. I'd have to give it a little thought, man.
Iconic name, so it's iconic shapers. But then, when I'm asking you your favorite shaper of all time, you have to pick one. I don't want to get in trouble.
Pat Rawson.
Okay, cool. Iconic. Yes, definitely. Personal question: your favorite song or kind of music?
Leonard Skinner.
Okay, nice. Favorite surf spot if it's not a secret? It can be a secret if you want.
Home spot, right here.
Okay. Favorite surfer of all time?
Jerry Lopez.
And the last question is a little bit unusual. I'd like to know your best favorite relationship advice. When with the relationship is can be a relationship with the ocean, friendship, romantic. We talk about family, whatever you want to answer.
I don't know, bro.
Relationship with the ocean, relationship with friends, relationship with romantic.
Well, I just have to, take your time and trust the process, I have to say.
Yes, we do trust the process.
Trust in the process, bro.
Yes, faithfully, we trust the process.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show with me today, and I look forward to meeting you very soon.
Thanks for having me, and great to meet you, Alessandro. That was
Ciao.
fun.
À bientôt.
Ciao. Bye. Merci.
Hi, it's me again. I hope you enjoyed our today's episode. If you want to know more about us, please follow www.templeofsurf.com and all our social media. Mahalo!